Okay, I think you kind of get the message. This doggy's breath stinks. Now, the truth is, about 80% of the cats and dogs by the age of 3 have some form of gum disease, and a lot of it we can smell it. Now, the truth is, Jimmy here, I know what I should be doing is brushing the teeth. Well, that might be a nice concept, but the truth is, less than 3% of us, if that much, actually does that. And we know it's essential. We know it makes a huge difference. It's super healthy for them. But how do I manage that? How do I get that done? I'll tell you what. We've got the expert that's going to talk to us about this. I'm going to bring on board in this show a veterinary dentist. Yes, there's such a thing out there. There's not many of them in the world, but there's a few of them. And we have one of them that's coming to our show. That's going to be Dr. Anthony. I'm going to bring him in just a second. And you're going to want to participate. You're going to want the show notes from this. And there's like some really cool stuff we're going to be providing for you guys to help you learn how to brush the teeth of, and we'll focus on dogs in this particular segment. So you're going to want to give some love when I introduce Dr. Anthony to you. And also a couple of quick reminders, because you're going to want the show notes, is for sure, put the word brushing in the notes, so that you're going to be able to get some really, really cool video on how to brush the teeth of your dog. B, Dr. Anthony actually wrote this 41-page ebook about oral health, and there's 7 really key things that you need to know about bad breath and what does it mean. It's going to talk about anesthesia. This is a fantastic ebook. So, and you're going to get the whole the show notes. So let me, without waiting any longer, bring the expert when we're talking about teeth brushing. Here we go. So Dr. James Anthony, here we go. Hey, thanks for joining us, Dr. Anthony.
Thank you for bringing me on.
Well, see, you're not just a veterinarian, you're a veterinary dentist. And
correct. And oral surgeon.
And oral surgeon. And the truth is, you've been doing it. I mean, how long has dentistry even been around for the animals, like vet dentists?
I'm a pioneer in the field, so as long as I've been here, it's started when I started, basically, and that was about almost 40 years ago.
40 years ago.
Yes, that shows my age.
Well, wait, hold on. How many veterinary dentists are there out there? I mean, like in the U.S. and Canada. I mean, how many of us, or in the world for that matter?
In the world, there's just over 200.
Wow. So there's not many of you guys. Well,
unfortunately, no. But there's more and more coming online all the time.
Wow. Well, if you've just joined us, this is Dr. James Anthony. He is a veterinarian, and he's a veterinary dentist. And as he just shared with us, he's been doing this for virtually 40 years, which is incredible. So I asked you, and thank you for taking our invites, to talk about this whole aspect of teeth brushing. And folks, if you just joined, make sure that you go in the notes and put the word brushing, because when you do that, you're going to be in a really good position to actually get the show notes and the video on how to brush your dog's teeth. But I want to go into this because you've been doing dentistry, and what type of patients have you seen, and where have you practiced? And tell us just a little bit about you before we go into the brushing itself.
Surely. Well, the patients usually are dogs and cats. However, I've done a lot of working dogs where I've worked with many police organizations and military and customs and border patrol people working on their pets, or not pets, but working dogs. I've worked in a lot of zoos as well, and I've worked on many different types of animals, from little vampire bats to killer whales. So
wow.
Everything in between.
Wait, you've actually done dentistry on killer whales?
Yes.
That's crazy. Wait, hang on. I know we got to talk about the brushing, but I need to know. So wait, do you put the killer whale under anesthesia? How do you work on the killer whale? That's crazy. Now, how do you get it open? How do the mouth stay open?
Very good question. First thing you have to do is let the killer whale gain confidence in you as a person and trust you.
Wow.
It takes months.
No kidding.
Because let's face it, these guys are not under anesthetic. You can't put them under anesthetic. They'll die, basically.
Oh.
They've got too much weight on them, compress the lungs, can't breathe.
Mm.
So as a result, you have to do everything awake. So,
Wow.
if you have a wide open mouth and you're basically trying to work in there, you want to make sure you have complete trust and they have complete trust in you, because you're a fly in front of a frog, basically, with that.
Well, the good news is I think most of our audience don't have any killer whales. They pet parents, but most likely it's a cat and a dog. So
Yes.
let's talk about this. I mentioned a statistic that actually I've learned from you directly about how big of a problem this is. I mean, 80% of cats and dogs have some form of gum or periodontal, as you guys call it, disease in the mouth. So it's a big deal. But the truth is, when we think of teeth brushing, I know a lot of people are not doing it, so hopefully this will really encourage you to do it. But the first question I have is, what should I brush with? I mean, is there like a specific tool like this, or I mean, what's the solution on that? What should a pet parent really know about what should they brush with?
Well, the first thing is you got to get an appropriate size brush for the size of your pet. So
Okay.
if you have a large dog or medium-sized dog, what I would recommend is an adult size soft bristle toothbrush.
Okay.
If you have a smaller breed dog like a Beagle or Shih Tzu, a child size soft bristle brush. And for the tiny, tiny little dogs and cats, I would use basically a little, what they call a proxa brush. And what that is the brush you use for cleaning orthodontic braces in people.
Got it.
They're perfect for these tiny little animals.
Got it. So if you just joined in right now, this is Dr. James Anthony. He's a veterinary dentist, over 30, 40 years of experience. And he just covered for us about what toothbrush to use. So folks, as you know, when we're on the show, we also want to give some feedback to Dr. Anthony. So if you've got questions that come up, please don't hesitate to provide it for us. But at the same time, also, if there's something new that you've learned or something that you feel somebody else that you know should learn about that's watching this show, let them know. So give us some paw love in the notes. By the way, that's how you can get one of the 1TDC bottles. And you've got a coupon too. You should be able to see that on the screen if you need to get some of the 1TDC. But give us some love for Dr. Anthony about some of the things that you're learning by paw love, and let us know what you've learned. Okay, so now we know what toothbrush we should be using. Now, the common question when I speak to people about this, very often, they tell us, hey, you know what? I do it once a month. Once I do the cleaning of my dog or my cat, and the groomer does that. So we need to know, how often should I brush? What's the truth behind that?
Well, once a month will do nothing. It might give you the warm and fuzzies inside, but it will do nothing for your pet.
Oh,
You need to do it daily.
whoa.
Ideally, daily. If you do it maybe 2 or 3 times a week, it's going to be better than nothing, but it's not going to be great. But if you do it daily, you will see tremendous benefits.
So daily. So you mean it's a routine? It's got to be.
That's the best way to do it.
I kind of want to, as a pet parent, I kind of want to get feedback of why is it that if I do it once a week, is it still not good? It's like, am I not removed? Why does it have to be that frequent?
Well, I did a research project many years and the effects of brushing. Mm-hmm. And basically what we did was we brushed twice a week. Now, there was some benefit, but not as much as if we brushed every single day. The difference was like a 50% improvement. So a very significant difference.
I guess it's kind of like us, right? We don't brush, hopefully, once a week.
Or a lot more than that.
Right, exactly. Okay, well, that makes sense. All right, let's go into the nitty gritty on this. So, all right, I get it. I'm supposed to do that every day. How do I brush? What's the key thing? What do I need to do to know that I'm doing it right?
Well, it's the method of brushing. In the human field, there's 12 different types of brushing methods. Wow. And as a result, it can be very confusing to a pet owner. Now, the most efficient brushing, and that's even with us, however, after 30, 40 years of this method of brushing, you will cause damage to your teeth. But unfortunately, our pets don't live that long. As a result, we can get away with this method of brushing, which is the most effective to remove the plaque. That's that biofilm on the tooth in the morning that you feel when you put your tongue around your teeth. Anyways, the method of brushing is called the sulcular method of brushing.
Sulcular, so it's not circular, it's sulcular. Okay, got it.
Correct. And the way to do that is you put the brush at a 45-degree angle to the tooth of the gum, and then horizontally go back and forth. That's it, exactly. And
Now, not for humans, right? Because if I do that for humans, I'm going to tear down my teeth, after 50, 60 years. So why is it okay to do that for a cat or a dog?
well, they don't last that long. Right now the average lifespan is anywhere from 18 to 26 years for pets, like a cat. So that it's only after about 30, 40 years of brushing in that method that you will actually have a problem.
Got it. True. There's not too many dogs that live 30, 40 years.
I wish there were.
I wish they were too. That's really good insight, folks. If you just join in, we're talking to Dr. James Anthony. He's a veterinary board dentist, over 30, 40 years of experience. And if you just joined, he just gave us some really good tips. And if you want to give him some paw love in the notes, hashtag paw love, I'll get you in our drawing for the one TDC. Okay, so let's go into understanding how we can really learn how soon I should start teeth brushing. Do I wait until they're adults? Do I do this when they're babies? Or what's the best way to get this done? Started, I should say.
Well, you want to make this a gradual process and start as early as possible.
Okay.
If you have a puppy or a kitten, just get them used to having a finger rubbed in their mouth or just something around there just to allow it. Because some dogs, if you start too late, they will not let you do that and be aggressive, and it can be dangerous. And in those cases, there's other alternatives that you can talk and discuss with your veterinarian to get good oral health. However, most animals, if started at an earlier age, will allow this. And even if they start at a later age, if you do it slowly and just get them used to getting something in their mouth, and then slowly introducing maybe a TDC or a toothpaste and get them used to the taste, and then introduce the brush. And you got to be gentle initially, but then after about maybe 2 to 3 weeks of brushing on a regular basis every day, you can add the pressure of the brush so you're brushing as hard as you would brush your own teeth.
Got it. Now, good insights. And the other thing, too, I want to remind the audience is, and I'll show a picture of it, we have this really, really good video that was directed by Dr. James Anthony, our guest, a veterinary dentist, on the 5 steps on how to brush. In this video is specifically about dogs. And it's really cool because it shows us from, if it was a puppy or if it was an adult dog already, what are the steps to take? So it'll take you about 3+ weeks to gradually do it. When you go in the show notes, just put the word brushing and it'll provide you access to that. It's a really cool video that really walks you step by step. So thank you for the insights on helping us put that together, Dr. Anthony.
You're welcome.
So the next step is going to be about understanding how effective is brushing your pet's teeth in keeping the mouth clean. Because kind of like when I was with Jimmy here, the question was, the breath stinks. So my question for you is, if I brush the teeth, how clean is that mouth going to be?
Well, it's not going to be 100%.
Okay.
But you're going to be very close to about 95% if you brush effectively.
Wow.
So it's really almost perfect. And what it's doing is removing the soft deposits or plaque or the biofilm on the teeth that create what we call the volatile sulfur particles, which is what gives the bad breath.
Got it.
By brushing, you're going to basically aid in keeping the mouth clean and healthy, and the gums really healthy. Basically, the redness of the gums, that's with accumulated, biofilm. It releases a lot of irritational sources that will stimulate the body to inflammation or sweat. of the gums, or gingivitis is what people call it. And it's basically a very destructive process for the supportive structures of the teeth. And brushing was a major component in keeping that clean. Another tremendous aid is 1-TDC, because it reduces that inflammation, so the destructive portions are actually basically eliminated, but also the gums are healthy and strong.
Got it. Well, and people will see in the video actually that we did with Sasha, we actually use, it's a little small on screen, but we actually use the 1-TDC as the, instead of toothpaste, actually, we use the 1-TDC because it's so tasty and palatable. So I'm removing the tartar and plaque, and the 1-TDC is so tremendous for helping the gums, which is really the part that's frankly discomfort in the animal's mouth. So when you go, folks, when you go in the show notes, put the word brushing, and you're gonna have access to that video. And also, if you've just joined in, this is Dr. James Anthony, a boarded veterinary dentist with lots of years of experience. And he also gave us, and I'll show it on screen, this incredible 7 reasons why you should be concerned about your dog's bad breath. And he goes over all of the details that you could imagine on how, from anesthesia to what products to use, about dieting, all that is covered in his ebook. So you're gonna have access to that. Just go into the show notes and just put the word brushing, and you're gonna have access to that. All right, so now we have a better understanding the effectiveness of brushing and how it relates to the oral cleanness of the mouth. So you told us 96% is covered, but here's one thing we really want to know. Will the brushing take away the bad breath?
As I mentioned earlier, yes, it will. It will take away the bad breath because it removes basically the bacteria that causes, on the biofilm that causes the bad breath. One thing I forgot to mention earlier, which I just wanted to bring attention, was not to use human toothpaste.
Oh,
the patient is there. However, it has a lot of bad products that can cause a lot of problems with your pets because their tendency to swallow everything. And in the toothpaste, there's a lot of detergents and those types of things that you'll have a visit to the veterinarian if you give it. Simple as
that's really good insights, folks. So let me just say one more time, just in case you just joined. This is Dr. James Anthony. He's a veterinary dentist. He just gave us a really, really important tip. Do not use human toothpaste if and when you're brushing your pet's teeth, unless he said you want to get your pet sick and end up at the veterinarian. So this is really, it's not a joke. It's very serious. And like you mentioned, there are plenty toothpaste for pets out there. We personally, under your guidance, we've been using our 1-TDC product because it takes care of the gum health at the same time. So you have something super tasty, which is really what you want, is a positive experience, as you'll see in the video with Sasha. When you go into the show notes and just put brushing, we'll get you a copy of it. Great, fantastic. So we're very clear that bad breath will be dramatically impacted, positively that is, if you are brushing the teeth. Now, the one thing I was going to ask you, you mentioned earlier about 96% of it is actually tackled, I believe, by just doing the outside of the teeth. What about the inside and all of that? So, like, can you tell us a bit more about that specific technique of the brushing and how it relates to covering, most bang for your buck as far as time and your dog's patience?
Well, brushing your pet's teeth, it's easy to brush the outside of the mouth, but it's difficult to brush the inside. And fortunately, basically most of the disease of the oral cavity is on the outside of the mouth.
Got it.
Very little is on the inside. So if we play an odds game, we're going to win most times. What I recommend for individuals is, yes, one, you should try to brush the whole mouth. However, if your dog or cat is not basically cooperative there, don't push the button. You're going to get hurt, or they're going to just really hate the whole process, and then we defeat the whole process, all the benefits that we're trying to gain from it. So attempt to the outside of the mouth thoroughly. And on the inside, if you can, wonderful. If you can't, don't feel bad.
Got it. So that's good. So if we have a really compliant dog, we can go the extra mile, but I can feel good knowing that I'll cover 96% of it by doing the outside.
That's right.
Okay, good. Excellent. So kind of the question I have for you, Dr. Anthony, is brushing the teeth. Is it like 2 minutes like it's recommended on the human side? How long should I, if I follow all the steps that's in the video, what are the next steps as far as how long should I do this every day?
Well, to do a good oral brushing, it should not take more than 30 to 60 seconds.
Okay, good.
So if you're taking more than that, you're doing something wrong.
Okay.
What's that?
Well, most of us don't even do it. So if we can afford that 30, 60 seconds, well, it's true because, we have a lot of our audience that have a lot of dogs. So it's kind of like time spent to do that. It's a lot of work. So that makes sense. So 30 to 60 second max, focusing on the all the way around as well.
I wanted to also mention that you should change the brush on a monthly basis.
Okay.
Because if you don't, basically that benefit of cleaning the mouth is not going to be there because it's like a dirty mop that you're just swishing around in the mouth. So you got to really change the brush on a regular basis.
Got it. So kind of like humans, you should change your toothbrush once a month.
That's right.
So really what I should do is brush my teeth or the dog's teeth at night at the same time when I'm doing it. And when I change my toothbrush, I change my dog's toothbrush. It's pretty much the same thing.
Well, and you bring up another point there, Olivier. Basically, you should be consistent at the time that you're brushing and the format. So the animal looks forward to this event instead of saying, oh my goodness, what's happening? So you got to create a habit.
Yeah, and I think
and the pet.
And it's really us. It's true for us to pick up that habit. That's what we say. It takes about 3 weeks, 21 days, right, to make the habit. And I really want to emphasize that, folks. If you just join in, we're with Dr. James Anthony. He's a veterinary dentist with lots of years, one of the pioneers in dentistry. For us as pet parents, it's a real privilege to have you here. And one of the key things I want to emphasize is the video that you helped us put together about how to brush your dog's teeth. Folks, get that. Get it and share it. It's a fantastic video, great for kids as well, as long as it's safe to teach them how to do it with their dogs. But what I want to talk about this video, and you can get it, just go in the notes and put the word brushing. What's really cool is that you also give us the steps, and those steps, which is really nice about it, is to create the environment, make it a fun environment. You also emphasize for us the importance of it being pleasurable, so tasty. Find the right toothpaste is what you, and again, animal pet toothpaste, not human toothpaste. And then in your teaching case here for us, you said just use the one TDC, because the one TDC will be great because they love it. You got to watch that they don't eat the toothbrush. And then also it's going to be fantastic for their gums. So it really has a dual purpose. Great video, folks. You're going to get it and you're going to want to share it. We have a question in the audience, actually, that I want to bring up to you so you can answer that. And Molly, thank you for asking this. Molly is asking, do the brushes, sprays do any good? And what about water additives? This is a fantastic question. Thanks, Molly, for asking that. Dr. Anthony, take it away.
Well, yes, they do have a benefit. It's the degree of benefit. Remember, we mentioned that 95% of plaque is removed with brushing. The sprays, some of the sprays basically is between 20 and 30%. So are they effective? Yes, but 20 to 30%. Where brushing is 95%. For me, 95% is a lot better than 20, 30%. The water additives, there are two types of water additives. One that is a xylitol base, and that's about 20 to 30% effective as well.
What was xylitol? We've heard that we're not supposed to use xylitol.
Well, in minute quantities,
okay,
it's safe. In amount in a chewing gum stick, it's enough to kill an animal.
Right, that's what we heard. So you saying in
Yes.
the water additive, I guess the parts per million must be so tiny?
That's right. It's just tiny, tiny, tiny amounts. So it's not as effective, but not toxic.
Got
And
it.
there's others that are organic
Okay.
and in the drinking water, and that is actually about 65% effective for plaque removal. So
Okay.
it's quite good. So yes, and these can be adjuncts to your brushing and can actually make you get close to that 100% mark.
Excellent. Molly, thank you for that question. I actually want to expand on that just a little bit because I've heard you in the past. I've had the privilege of seeing many lectures of Dr. Anthony, our guest today, who's a veterinary dentist, about what are some of the ingredients in the sprays that I should be looking out for that work really well, but actually can cause damage over time. I think there's some ingredients that you've talked about that pet owners, pet parents should be really on the lookout for.
Well, there's not that many, but the big thing is to look at. There's a website called the VOHC, the Veterinary Oral Health Council.
Got it.
They have basically looked at the research and seen that it offers some degree of effectiveness and is safe.
Got it.
So if they have that seal of approval, the VOHC
And you're safe.
approval, you know it's safe.
And it works.
Yes.
Got it. Yeah, I've seen some of the products sometimes has like grain alcohol and different things like that. I didn't know if that was a concern for the enamels. I wouldn't put that grain alcohol.
Well, if they have, let's say, an acid in them, and that's the reason why it gets rid of the biofilm, it can actually destroy the tooth surface.
Got it. Got it.
So with constant use of these things, you can get detrimental effects to the teeth. So each product has many different products in it, and as a result, there's so many out there that you have to be careful as far as what you need to use. And that's why I say if they have the seal of approval of the VOHC, then I would say it's safe to use.
Got it. Thank you for answering that question. Molly, thank you for asking that question for us. And again, if you just joined in, this is Dr. James Anthony. He's a veterinary boarded dentist, one of the few, 200 less in the world, actually. He's one of them. So we're so honored to have him on our show today. The other thing, too, if you just join in and you hear something that's really beneficial for you, for your pets, or you want to share with other people, give us in the notes some paw love. That gets you in the drawing of the One TDC, the product that we've been talking about. Actually, I use personally with Sasha for brushing your teeth for the oral health benefits. And if you need some, you've got a coupon from the show, Live 10. We'll get you some 10% off. So I want to actually expand just a little bit about the alternatives because let's face the fact. I think we have a lot of great pet parents that have good intentions. Even some of them want to teach their kids on how to do it. But I don't think every dog is a contender for that. I mean, there's some kudos out there that I wouldn't want to put my fingers near their mouth. And it's, if anything, we don't want anybody to be put in danger or even kids to be put in danger, worse yet. So I want to ask you, how can you gauge that it's not safe? And if it is not safe to do it, what are some other alternatives? You started to talk about it right now with the water additive from the question from Molly, but is there, how do you gauge first safety and next, what are alternatives?
Well, safety should be always a primary concern. You never want anyone to get bitten or injured that way. And the best thing to do is know your dog or cat and do things gently and systematically, slowly, and just see what the animal's reaction is. If the reaction is aggressive, then you know that maybe you should go and do something else and talk to your veterinarian about customizing a home care program that's unique for your pet and for you. Because also, some people cannot brush because they have arthritis in their hands.
Sure.
So as a result, the desire is there, but they cannot do it. So this is where your veterinarian could customize a home care program. such as the water additives, such as the sprays, such as dental diets that mechanically remove plaque and calculus. There's many products. In fact, there's over 2,000 related dental benefit products on the market in pet stores throughout North America.
Oh my gosh, 2,000? Wow. How do you, I
Yes.
don't know what to pick.
And most of them are useless, to be honest. So that's where you would need to talk to your veterinarian about what they would recommend. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Dr. Anthony.
I was going to mention that basically in the notes of the book, we go through a lot of that as far as what products to use, what basically what you should be looking in for these products.
So the book that Dr. Anthony, our guest veterinary dentist, is sharing with us is when you go in the notes, folks, down below, just put the word brushing. You're going to get access. It's a fantastic. I'll just show you guys the pictures. You can see what it looks like. It's the 7 reasons why you should be concerned about your dog's bad breath. He talks everything you can think about dentistry and oral health for your dog in this particular ebook is covered. So this is what he's referring about, and it's free. All you got to do is put brushing, and you're going to get access to it. So, and I would highly encourage you to do that. And of course, you know, a little plug in for our own product with the One TDC. It's quite phenomenal what it's done with the gum health. And I think this is one of the things that I've learned from you, Dr. Anthony, is like oral health really has 2 parts. Can you cover that a little bit? Because people, sometimes we get confused, you know, tartar and plaque, is that the whole problem? What exactly does it mean to tackle oral health overall?
Well, it's not just, you know, something that is with the average public, but even professionals have difficulty understanding it. What it is basically is before we used to think the bacteria in the mouth, right now in your mouth and in my mouth, we have over 300 different types of bacteria in our mouth. Just even we just brushed about half an hour to an hour ago.
Wait, they're back already in 30 minutes?
Yes. And within 30 minutes, you're already getting a biofilm attached to your teeth. So that's why brushing to get rid of that is so important. Okay. However, what we were talking about is we used to think bacteria cause basically the inflammation of the gums. Well, now we know that it's not just bacteria, but more importantly, our own body's reaction to inflammation, how the body fights it, is really the cause of destruction. And TDC actually stabilizes that inflammation. So in other words, it gets rid of it and makes the gums healthy again.
Well, the key, and I'm going to give full disclosure here, Dr. James Anthony, our guest, veterinary dentist, actually worked on my little Sasha a couple years ago. And truth be told, I was not brushing her teeth then. And she was 8 years old. You can see her in the picture there. And ever since, and I was so grateful that I had a veterinary dentist actually doing the dentistry work on her. Ever since then, the steps that you're going to see in the video that's provided for you, that's what I've literally been doing under the guidance of Dr. Anthony. And, you know, it takes a time. I mean, you know, she was not a puppy when I started. But the truth is, those 5 steps really got me to where you can see actually what she does on the video. And it's really it's become a habit now. It's really interesting. We go at night, I'm about to brush my teeth. She's just ready. And the truth is, she doesn't like it. The only reason I get away with brushing her teeth, which I actually didn't show in the video, is I put a little bit on the toothbrush, but at the end of brushing her teeth, that's when I put the One TDC on her gum. So it's her reward. And I think you got to find whatever works for your dog to make it a really enjoyable experience. That's the video. And then don't forget you've got the ebook as well. That's available for you folks as well. Dr. Anthony, you've given us so much knowledge. If you've just joined in right now and you haven't seen the beginning, make sure you put brushing in the notes. You're going to get the ebook that Dr. Anthony provided for us. the 5 steps on how to brush your dog's teeth, and you get the recap of everything that we just talked about. So I'm very, very thankful for all the knowledge that you provided. If you haven't put hashtag paw love below, please do that. You're going to get a chance to win some 1TDC as well. So what we're going to do now, Dr. Anthony, we're going to start all over again. So we kind of do a recap and introduction, and stick around because we're about to provide the 5 key tips take away from this particular show. So hang tight. We're going to start all over again. I'm going to hide you and bring you back in just a second. Here we go. That breath is bad. I know I should be brushing, but let's face the facts, folks. I know that 80% of cats and dogs by the age of 3 have some form of gum health diseases, and it's a big deal. But most people don't brush. Less than 3% of our population actually has the time or knows how to brush the teeth. So what do we do? And what are the key 5 tips that I need to know about teeth brushing? Well, I'm about to bring on an expert that's going to tell you all about teeth brushing and the 5 key tips takeaway that you need to know. And that is Dr. James Anthony. Let me bring him on. Dr. James Anthony is a veterinary boarded dentist with over close to 40 years of experience. Dr. Anthony, thank you for joining us.
Welcome.
I'm super stoked on having you. I know you've been doing this a long time. You're one of the pioneers. And in this segment here, what we really need is your key takeaway wisdom on teeth brushing. What do I need to know to be very successful in doing it? So if you had 5 tips to give us, what would be the tip number 1?
Well, the first one is use an appropriate size brush that is a soft bristle brush with pet toothpaste or 1TDC.
Got it. So you heard it here, folks. You can brush the teeth of your dog, cat. Make sure that the bristle is soft. Excellent. And does that mean it's a pet toothbrush, human toothbrush, or just a clarification on that one in that tip?
I recommend using a human toothbrush.
Nice. And then depending on the size of the animal, I just adjusted. I take
Correct.
it. Okay, excellent. So if you have a tiny little Chihuahua, you're not going to use an adult one, toothbrush like this one. This is a human toothbrush. You're going to use, I think you have mentioned some of those little brush that we use for braces, just something that's tiny in proportion to, but it's got to be.
And change the brush on a regular basis, once a month, ideally.
Got it. So that's tip number 1. You know what type of toothbrush to use. It's got to be a soft toothbrush. Okay, brushing the teeth. Tip number 2.
Brush daily.
Daily. Okay.
Yes.
Just like us.
It will make a huge difference. Huge.
Got it. And if I don't brush daily, then...
Well, you're going to visit people like me. And unfortunately, spend a lot of money, which, I'd rather see you brush your pet's teeth than come to me for these types of treatments.
Okay, you heard it here from the expert veterinary dentist. Brush daily, save money, and keep your pet happy. That's kind of the bottom line.
And healthy.
And healthy, more importantly. All right, so that's tip number 2. Tip number 3.
Use the sulcular method of brushing, so back and forward.
Succular and the toothbrush.
You were going around in circles there.
That's
so used to it.
Circular. You're saying succular, so back and forth. And
yes.
And can I brush a little bit of the gums when I do that?
Yes, right at the junction between the gums and the teeth at 45-degree angle.
Excellent. So tip number 3, use the sulcular method of brushing back and forth, going all the way around, Dr. Anthony, is what you've been teaching me.
Yes.
And the good news is I understand that which froze for a second, by doing this, it covers 96% of the teeth surface or wherever some of the bad stuff is in your cat or dog's mouth.
Well, it's going to remove about 95% of the plaque in the mouth. Yes.
Excellent. All right. So that was tip number 3. Tip number 4, how to brush the dog's teeth.
Brushing should only take 30 to 60 seconds to do a complete job.
30 or 60 seconds. So if I love my pet, which I do, and I'm able to brush every day, can I dedicate 30 to 60 seconds? I'm in.
Not asking much, but it will make a huge difference to the health of the pet.
Thank you for that. Excellent. All right, let's go into the tip number 5.
So if you're having trouble brushing, don't despair. Many alternatives that can be used instead of brushing to suit your needs as well as your pet's needs. So that's where you need a professional to help you customize a home care program. And I feel that whether it's dental diets, whether it's sprays or liquid gels or water additives, and the list goes on, basically all of them will have benefits to some degree, and you use a cumulative approach to get close to that 100% mark.
Excellent. And of course, use your 1TDC, folks. Many of you folks are doing it already. Dr. Anthony actually did the research on cats at the university to demonstrate the effectiveness of the 1TDC. There's a fun story. We'll probably tell that at a later show. Actually, he actually didn't believe the product worked. That's why he did a study. And look at him now. He's telling us about it, and he's teaching us how to use it, even simply as teeth brushing. Dr. Anthony, thank you so much for coming on the show and really teaching us about teeth brushing, the importance of it, the alternatives, and the steps. So that's very valuable. If you just join in, we're just about done, but make sure before you go to go in the show notes and put the word brushing. It's going to get you access to a guided video on how to brush your dog's teeth, 5 easy steps by Dr. James Anthony. It's a really cool video that I got a chance to do with Sasha, who started brushing her teeth at 8 years old using that very technique that you're seeing in this video. In addition, when you are putting brushing in the show notes, you're going to get access to this incredible ebook all about understanding oral health for your dog. Very, very thorough. You're going to know everything about it. You'll go back to your veterinarian and probably teach them after this, because this was written by a veterinary dentist. So, Dr. Anthony, thank you so much for coming on the show. We look forward to hear from you again. As a matter of fact, I think in the near future, what we'll do is we'll probably have people come in and ask questions. A lot of us have spent quite a bit of time and money with oral health issues with our pets. So if we want to know more about preventives, questions, folks, that you have, put them in the notes. We'll bring Dr. Anthony. He's so gracious with his time to be able to teach us so we can be awesome pet parents and give super oral health. Dr. Anthony, thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me.